continue on the floor with UCLA's Ashley Peckett, 5'1" senior, Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. The season high 9.925 in this event.
UCLA always stands out on floor exercise. They have gorgeous choreography.
Well, we talked about Valerie Kondo's field already. Her background is not gymnastics, it's dance. I think ballet was her emphasis.
Wow.
And she loves to choreograph the dances.
Very big first pass. Coming right back with a second tumbling pass. Front. Through to a full. Not sure that was supposed to be a full, actually. Wow. See, very creative. A lot of personality throughout all these routines.
Seen a lot more dance in the floor exercise over the last couple of years?
You know, at the collegiate level, definitely. I think it's the event the crowd loves to see, and I think it's an event that most gymnasts love to do. They get to show their personality and have a good time out there. Finishing with a double tuck, very nice landing.
Background right before that last tumbling pass, you saw a man in a light blue shirt. That was Chris Waller, the UCLA assistant coach. He was dancing back and forth, moving just as much as his athlete. I think a little bit nervous. Tough for the coaches. Here's Tabitha Yim, last year's all-around champion. A bit of an upset on the uneven bars for Stanford.
Starting right off with release moves, up to the high bar, back down with the shoot to handstand. Beautiful line there. You see a lot of great routines on this event. The difference between wow.
Perfect.
Full twist and go back. Between the 9.9 and the 9.975 are going to be the vertical lines and landings like that.
We're just stuck at her. Not a step, not a bobble. And hops over to a teammate. Tabitha Yim, top 5 bars average this year at 9.885, and I would think she'd get at least that score. Brooke Barclay on the beam for Oregon State. Tied for 4th in the Pac-10 in beam average. Again, same score at 9.885. Big number.
This event is always the make or break in about every gymnastics competition there is. And you know, now being a coach, I teach my kids to be confident on this event because it is the event that will make or break what teams finish on top.
Did you like the beam?
You know, I love to practice the beam. Competing on the balance beam was very difficult. It took me many years to figure out how to be confident enough to go out and do it when it counts. You can see the little balance checks, all the little adjustments. Typically, that's when you're holding back. You're not being as aggressive as you normally are in practice, and that's because there's something on the line. There's a little more pressure when you're out here in front of all the people.
And Amanda, to take that a step further, if you have to do it in competition, you want to lead off with it, or do you want it as your last event?
You know, that's a great question. When I was an athlete, I tried to look at both the positives, but to be honest with you, starting on the event can be tough because you have a lot of adrenaline. It's not the best event to have a lot of adrenaline on. However, to get it out of the way and move on to all the other events is always a positive too. Yeah,
I'd like to burn it and get it behind me.
Very nice gainer full off the side.
Barclay, 5'2", redshirt freshman from Coeur d'Alene in Idaho. Back over to the floor exercise, UCLA's Anna Lee.
Very creative floor work. A lot of times I watch the routines and I just get caught up. I forget that I'm actually watching a competition. Instead, it's just such a performance. Really enjoyable to always watch. Beautiful dance series there. Getting ready for the final tumbling pass. Takes a lot of endurance, about 1.5 minutes. Beautiful Rudy, slight hop there on the landing. Very nice.
UCLA's Anna Lee. Back to the beam, and Jami Lanz will probably follow Jami Lanz for most of the day, one of the favorites here today. And just a sophomore, you know, it's funny because she was a co-freshman of the year last year, along with with Ariana Berlin of UCLA, and it just seems like she's been around a lot longer. I always forget that she's still an underclassman.
That's right. When you see athletes come out with the experience and the confidence they have, you'd think she would be a senior. She's very consistent across the board on all events. And to be that good of a competitor as a sophomore is a great thing for Oregon State. Beautiful flexibility, straddle jump to a back handspring, swing down.
You know, I talked to her last night just for a few minutes, and she told me when she was a kid, she cut her hair so she would look like her hero, Amanda Borden. True story. And she made me promise I wouldn't say it on air.
Beautiful switch leap to straddle jumps. Not surprising to see this from her at all. A very solid routine. Dismounting off the side, gainer full, perfect landing.
Ready.
It's going to be a big score.
To the floor, Tasha Schwikert, UCLA. 5'2", junior. Yep, Tasha and Jordan Schwikert, UCLA. Season high 9.95 on this event.
Wow. Beautiful whip, double full punch front. I mentioned it at the beginning. Very dynamic. She's so fun to watch on this event.
A lot of wow factor in the UCLA floor exercises.
That's right. She's got the tumbling. She's got the dance. She's got the drama. Very cool.
You know, it's funny when you see them interact with their music and it really comes alive, and then you wonder why more people don't do that, work right off the music that way.
Yeah, well, you know, it's so entertaining for the crowd. I know that the judges obviously are looking for that too, but when you see an athlete get that involved in their routine, it's hard to, I mean, if they nail the tumbling, they nail the dance, and they perform it like that, it's got to be a huge score.
There's Valerie Condos, her coach, whispering in her ear right before this tumbling pass.
One more to go. Finishing with a double pike. Wow.
Not a
you
lot
said the
wrong with
wow
that.
factor.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sure is. Even the crowd here at
She
Arizona
knows
State
it.
giving her, she's pumping her fists and playing to the crowd. A high 10 from Chris Waller and runs back to the bench. Great effort by Schwikert on the floor. Earlier, Jami Lanz, Oregon State, dismount on the beam. Perfect landing. 2007 Pac-10 Championships inside Wells Fargo Arena on campus at Arizona State University in Tempe. Jim Watson with Amanda Borden. Let's take a look back at Tasha Schwikert on the floor. A nice exercise, got the crowd into it right with the music.
Beautiful full twisting double tuck, perfect landing. Finishing that routine with a double pike, and again right there, not a tenth of a deduction there on the landing, and you can see that score, 9.95.
Wow, that is a nice mark, 9.95, almost perfect. UCLA, though, still trailing. And remember, this is after two events, UCLA, Stanford, and Arizona not competing in the first rotation, so those are a little skewed right now. But Oregon State is out quickly on their first two events, the bars and the beam. Rotation 3, UW on the vault, Cal on the bars, Stanford beam, ASU is on the floor. And UCLA is going to get another bye here. Here's Tabitha Yim, last year's all-around champion, and is the defending Pac-10 champion on this event, the beam.
Beautiful front aerial. Going right back at that tumbling series back handspring layout, perfect. She's very aggressive on this event. I watched Tabitha in the Olympic trials in 2004, so she has a lot of experience, but what always stands out to me is how aggressive she is, how she attacks each event. Beautiful switch leap straddle jump.
You can tell when there's a big performance going on or a big name in action because most of the other gymnasts will turn and look over their shoulder. Yesterday when I came in during warm-ups, she was on the beam and everyone in the gym was watching her.
Beautiful. Round of double full, slide hop on the landing, and to be honest with you, that was the only deduction I saw in that entire routine. She finished right here with a round of double full.
Right
beautiful in the air. You can see just a slight hop on the landing.
Boy, her heels were hanging right over the end of the beam. She had just the last inch of the wood.